Welcome back to another thrilling episode where we tackle the ultimate challenge of dismantling a massive offshore steel city today. This colossal artificial island has bravely stood against the harsh ocean elements for decades, but its operational life is finally over. Before any explosive charges or heavy cutting tools can be deployed, our specialized teams must execute a complex preparation phase. You will witness the incredible journey of our courageous engineers as they arrive to conquer this decaying giant in the turbulent ocean. Landing a heavy transport chopper on an old platform amid strong ocean winds requires absolute precision and nerves of solid steel. The moment the skids touch the metal grating, the crew realizes the immense scale of the upcoming demolition project directly ahead. Every single specialist stepping onto this desolate structure knows that safety is the absolute priority during this dangerous offshore mission. This control room once served as the bustling brain of the platform, but now it stands completely silent and entirely forgotten. They must carefully review every original schematic to understand the hidden dangers lurking within miles of twisting pipes and massive heavy steel. The eerie silence of the abandoned facility creates a profound contrast against the violent ocean waves crashing relentlessly down below. Restoring temporary power is the crucial first step to illuminate the dark corridors and successfully power up essential diagnostic testing equipment. Navigating through this mechanical labyrinth requires extreme caution because structural integrity has been severely compromised by decades of saltwater corrosion. Before starting the deep cleaning process, workers must ensure there are absolutely no lingering toxic gases trapped inside the heavy pipes. The digital monitors confirm that the immediate sector is clear, allowing the brave crew to proceed deeper into the dangerously decaying structure. Powerful industrial vacuums are firmly attached to the main valves to extract every single drop of residual oil and hazardous chemicals. This deep cleaning phase ensures that no harmful pollutants will ever spill into the pristine ocean during the final demolition. While the topside crew works tirelessly, another highly specialized team prepares to dive into the freezing depths of the dark, turbulent ocean. Remotely operated vehicles are essential tools for performing intricate underwater operations that are far too dangerous for fragile human divers today. The robotic submarine descends into the crushing darkness, guided by expert pilots sitting safely in the warm surface control room. Over many long years, the submerged steel jacket has transformed into a thriving artificial reef teeming with beautiful local marine life. The primary objective down here is to locate and permanently seal the massive wellheads resting silently on the dark seafloor. Using specialized hydraulic manipulator arms, the robotic submarine carefully positions a heavy concrete capping stack over the old well opening. This critical capping procedure guarantees that no residual pressure from deep underground can ever cause a disastrous environmental oil leak. Back on the surface, engineers monitor the underwater progress while simultaneously preparing to bleed off the remaining internal system pressure. Massive pressure release valve is slowly turned by two workers, creating a deafening hissing sound across the silent platform. The trapped nitrogen gas escapes rapidly into the atmosphere, significantly lowering the internal pressure of the vast interconnected pipe network. Watching the analog gauges slowly drop to absolute zero brings a collective sigh of relief to the anxious engineering team. With the system fully depressurized, the structure is finally rendered safe enough for the heavy demolition crews to take over. Structural engineers now begin a meticulous inspection of the giant steel legs, searching for any hidden weaknesses or microscopic cracks. They utilize advanced ultrasonic testing equipment to peer deep inside the solid metal, mapping out the safest potential cutting zones. Every single structural support must be analyzed carefully to ensure the platform does not collapse prematurely during the dismantling process. Bright yellow paint is used to clearly mark the precise locations where the explosive linear-shaped charges will be attached. The scale of this engineering challenge is truly breathtaking, requiring perfect coordination between marine architects and explosive demolition experts today. High above the main deck, a small aerial drone is launched to inspect the towering flare boom reaching the sky. The drone camera captures stunning cinematic footage of the rusted flare tip completely exposed to the relentless howling ocean winds. Removing this massive upper tower is incredibly dangerous and requires a heavy lift vessel with a tremendously powerful offshore crane. Colossal heavy lift ship slowly maneuvers into position beside the platform, casting a giant shadow over the choppy water. This floating mechanical beast is specifically designed to hoist thousands of tons of steel effortlessly from the turbulent ocean environment. Massive steel cables, thicker than a human torso, are carefully lowered from the towering crane down to the rig deck. Riggers secure the heavy cables to the designated lifting points, ensuring that the load will remain perfectly balanced during extraction. Sparks fly wildly into the air as industrial plasma cutters slice through the thick steel beams connecting the flare tower. The intense heat from the cutting torches melts the ancient metal like butter, slowly severing the tower from its base. With a deafening metallic groan, the massive flare boom finally breaks free, suspended entirely by the mighty crane lifting cables. The crane operator masterfully swings the gigantic steel structure through the air, gently placing it onto the waiting transport barge. This successful initial lift boosts the morale of the weary crew, proving that their meticulous planning was absolutely flawless today. The most challenging aspect of this monumental demolition project still lies ahead, hidden beneath the dark, rolling ocean waves. The underwater structural supports must be carefully severed using highly specialized explosive-shaped charges deployed by the robotic dive teams. These unique explosive devices are engineered to slice through solid steel with incredible precision, minimizing any dangerous underwater shockwaves. The ROV carefully attaches the explosive collars around the enormous steel legs, ensuring perfect alignment for a clean, symmetrical cut. Meanwhile, topside engineers continue to strip away the remaining non-essential infrastructure, throwing heavy debris into massive industrial recycling disposal bins. Every piece of scrap metal recovered from this colossal facility will be melted down and entirely repurposed for future construction. The sun begins to set over the vast ocean, casting a brilliant orange glow against the towering rusted steel structures. Powerful halogen floodlights automatically illuminate the busy work decks, allowing the dedicated crews to continue their dangerous operations through midnight. Nighttime on an offshore rig creates an isolated and surreal atmosphere where the only sounds are roaring winds and machinery. Inside the temporary living quarters, exhausted workers rest and share stories, building a strong camaraderie essential for offshore survival missions. The next morning arrives with challenging weather conditions as thick fog heavily blankets the entire steel complex in gray mist. Despite the poor visibility, the demolition schedule must proceed without any delay to avoid the approaching severe seasonal ocean storms. The heavy lift vessel slowly repositions itself, preparing to remove the massive main accommodation block where the crew once lived. Giant hydraulic shears are deployed to effortlessly crush through the exterior walls, exposing the abandoned rooms and forgotten empty hallways. Watching the living quarters being torn apart is a highly emotional moment for veteran engineers who spent years working here. However, progress cannot be halted, and the powerful machinery continues to dismantle the massive steel structure piece by heavy piece. The transport barge is slowly loaded with gigantic chunks of twisted metal, gradually sinking lower into the dark ocean water. Powerful tugboat attaches a thick towing cable to the fully loaded barge, preparing to haul the scrap metal away. The barge slowly departs the demolition zone, carrying away the first major segment of this once majestic offshore steel city. Back on the remaining platform, the explosive experts are conducting their final wiring checks for the synchronized underwater cutting sequence. Miles of detonation cord are carefully routed along the rusty deck, connecting the central firing panel to the submerged explosives. The chief blaster holds a highly detailed safety briefing, ensuring every single team member knows the precise evacuation protocol today. An alarm siren echoes loudly across the empty ocean, signaling that the final explosive detonation sequence is about to begin. Remaining personnel quickly board the transport helicopters, leaving the skeletal remains of the oil rig completely abandoned once more. The helicopters fly to a safe distance, hovering steadily in the sky to observe the spectacular culmination of their work. The heavy lift vessel moves directly over the rig, attaching its massive central hooks to the main upper deck structure. The tension in the giant steel lifting cables increases dramatically as the powerful crane prepares to take the entire load. Back on the command ship, the chief engineer stares intensely at the firing panel, slowly lifting the red safety cover. Dramatic countdown begins over the radio communication system, echoing through the headsets of every anxious crew member watching closely. 3, 2, 1, fire! The commander presses the button, sending a powerful electrical signal racing toward the submerged explosive charges. A massive geyser of white water erupts violently around the base of the steel legs, accompanied by a muffled boom. The explosive-shaped charges slice perfectly through the thick steel pillars in a fraction of a second, severing the foundation. Instantly, the enormous upper deck structure drops slightly, now entirely supported by the groaning steel cables of the heavy crane. Colossal lifting vessel engines roar loudly as it slowly hoists the massive severed platform completely out of the water. Water cascades beautifully from the rusty underside of the suspended steel giant, creating a magnificent artificial waterfall in the ocean. The crane operator carefully pivots the immense load, smoothly transferring the entire upper deck onto the deck of the ship. With the massive topside successfully removed, only the submerged steel jacket remains hidden beneath the dark, rolling waves down below. This underwater structure will intentionally be left in place to serve as a permanent artificial reef for thriving marine ecosystems. Environmental scientists closely monitor the area, ensuring that the remaining steel framework continues to safely support vibrant local fish populations. Demolition fleet slowly turns around, leaving the peaceful ocean behind and heading back toward the distant shore at sunset. This incredible engineering feat demonstrates humanity's remarkable ability to safely dismantle massive industrial creations while protecting the delicate natural environment. The scrap metal recovered today will soon be transformed into brand new structures, continuing the endless cycle of industrial rebirth. We hope you enjoyed witnessing this monumental deep-sea demolition process and gaining insight into these highly complex offshore operations. Dedicated team will continue to bring you more thrilling videos showcasing the absolute biggest and toughest dismantling jobs worldwide. Thank you for watching this incredible journey today. Please subscribe and stay tuned for the next adventure on Demolition Worker.